let's see. I'll do stay green. 1, 1, Q squad. There you go. Put some large text here. Move it around. Do some on-the-fly editing. And any second now. Nope. Too big. I need to make this box bigger. Almost there. Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
That should be good. Oh, yeah, back. Okay, cool. All right. So, anyways, I just started anyways. Okay, so here we are, game number 3. Trough is back. We got our blind bands happening. Look at that. Stay green once again. Moon Queen Draconis. They're blind bands. Obviously, going back to those that they did in game number 1 that worked out. Keeper of the Force Deadwood, though. Once again, banned here by Q Squad. So don't want to have to deal with the trees. Wild Soul the first lock, and Fade Nomad to come out here. Now remember, we have talked about this lately, seen it a little bit. Nomad versus Wild Soul apparently is a pretty good matchup in favor of Nomad. So,
yeah, that was actually We Are Spies that did this in the Sound Blaster finals. Right. And they literally, before the match, were actually trying out that lane setup against themselves. And I don't know if QsQ watched that at all, or if they know themselves that Nomad's actually a pretty damn good laner against a lot of different suicides, to be honest. Not even just Wild Soul, but just a lot of different suicides. Because of his buffed Wanderer spell, is that what it's called? The passive.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
It basically allows you to get like every single CS. And it's very effective. So he's locked up here. Pebbles and then Rally coming out for SG. And Rally's good in the sense that if you have him in a mid, like a dual lane mid, or even like just solo mid, it's very difficult to kill him because he has that free push book at level 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've seen that before, especially that 1v2 mid matchup where Rally, he gets at the least stay alive, get some good experience, and ultimately, take advantage of that as the game progresses on. So. Rally has definitely proven himself here on the competitive scene, to say the least, so it's not too crazy of a lock there by any means. Now, what's crazy is that Bloodhunter lock. Now, there really isn't any logic for that other than I just think a kind of a throwaway lock there, as we like to put it. So, Q Squad using that final lock in that way. But that means, either Rally or Nomad, or maybe even both of them could be picked up here in this game. Again, those are heroes that we don't get to see often, so that would be cool. Bubbles, Engineer, Plague Rider, Master of Arms, Glacius, and now one more band to go here, specifically on Q Squad side until we enter that first pick stage. But again, Nova banning that Master of Arms here against Slicks, as we saw the first game. Running it a lot lately and making it work. But yeah, I'm also liking the Moon Queen Draconis blind bands there too.
Yep. The last band is actually going to be a Luna coming out from QsQ, so don't want, and maybe they thought the SG with lots of different supports being banned, specifically the Engineer and the Glacier. So the next best one to pick up, is one of the best, and that's a Luna. And I wouldn't be surprised. Now Zephyr's still left unbanned. So is Demented Shaman. Actually, there's a lot of junglers still left unbanned too, being Parasite, Ophelia, and Tempest. So, very interesting stuff right there. But yeah, with all the great supports being banned out, you're going to have to go to like the next tier, so to speak. Ophelia's first picked up by SG, and they can do that because they don't have to fear... I guess the only thing they have to fear really is the Parasite.
Yeah.
And but even that is not the hardest counter because a lot of Ophelias will buy the boots first and just kind of run away from the Parasite. But again, it's not like a huge counter to Parasite. Parasite's still very, very good against Ophelia. You know who else is very good against Ophelia that we never see anymore? Well, at least what we did with one team. But Cthulhu.
True. Very true, yeah. Bryce, aka Emperor, loved to play that, whether it was against Ophelia or not, but worked out very well. Demented Shaman Zephyr is still on the board, remember? And I do see a right-click on Zephyr there coming out from Nox, so kind of curious if the Q Squad maybe wants to go that route. Obviously has proven itself, and, well, there you go. Q Squad does want to go that route. The Bird and Demented Shaman proven to be a very, very powerful lane to play against. So, and I almost want to say that, in a sense, they weren't forced to do that, but if they didn't go that, you could think Stay Green may have done it themselves. And exactly. You got Ophelia on top of that, then you got maybe that Wild Soul. That would have been insane. So, I guess the more I'm thinking about it, Q Squad, in a sense, was almost forced to do that, but...
Yeah. Now, Q Squad, they're going to have to pick up another strong support here. They don't have... I guess they could go for a jungle, but there's no real suicide option available in the lockpick other than Wild Soul, but you can safely assume that's going to get picked up by SG. So they're going to have to go for support, and they're going to have to go for like a dual lane mid and a dual lane long lane.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to have to do because there is no suicide available to them. So they're going to have to pick up something in that lockpick pool for a solo short, probably a Nomad or maybe even a Pebbles, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have to pick up either one of those two Pebbles or Fade to pair up with whatever support they're going to pick up next. I'm guessing Torturer. They like to pick that a lot. Could also be Voodoo because QsQ likes to run Voodoo specifically.
Huh. And for a Soul Reaper, how about that? Now,
Lots of heal.
Wow, yes. That's a great point to make right off the bat. Didn't even hit me until you said that. Ophelia, Soul Reaper, and Nymphora all bringing something. You got to figure out at least one Astrolabe. Well, probably only one, but still, nonetheless, a lot of powerful heals coming out, which can be great against a hero like Zephyr, as Zephyr isn't necessarily a bursty style of hero. He's more of a, over time, he'll just wear you out, so it could make sense. Torturer is going to be the final pick coming out from Q Squad, so you're kind of looking at Torturer as maybe a support option, but eventually picked up by Q Squad, actually. So now, State Green, are they going to go that Wild Soul here? Or is it going to be something different? Yes, they are just going to go the Wild Soul in the end. I'm guessing the Nomad here from Q Squad. That's why they locked it up, maybe. But
I think it's going to be Fade Pebbles.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Fade Pebbles. I think they're going to go Pebbles and Torture at bottom, Fade solo. Or no, sorry. Fade and Torture at bottom, Zephyr, Demented Shaman mid, and then Pebbles to solo top against the Wild Soul. And not to mention, that would also take those two heroes away from SG. And that's never really a reason to draft. But it's Fade Pebbles. Like, those are two top-tier heroes. Yeah. And to have both of them on the same team is pretty strong.
Well, if you're going to match up Pebbles against Wild Soul, why not just go Nomad then in that case?
Well, then you could still potentially give Pebbles to the SG team.
So it's to keep it from them, if anything. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a combination of both. And I still think Pebbles in the short lane, if he's against one, even if it is Wild Soul, who's actually very strong in 1v1 matchups, and especially against just melees in general, because of that entangle, is very easy to get procs on heroes that are trying to attack those creeps from melee range. But it is going to be Nomad this time, so they're going to give the Pebbles most likely to SG. Yeah. Could also be Rally, but with the Nymphora up, I see it. Oh, it is going to be Rally.
So it didn't matter in the end.
Interesting.
Yeah, they do go the Rally. They like the Rally pickup, and they were the ones to lock it. So clearly. Yeah. We mentioned when he was locked. I mean, he has proven himself. So, how are they going to lane it though? Are we going to maybe see that Rally Nymphora mid? Sorry for short Wild Soul Suicide, I guess, is what I would think off the bat. But
I think that's what it's going to have to be. Now they have Jonas Fan playing the Fade. Are we going to see like a Suicide Fade? I don't know. I want to say that it's going to be a Fade and Torturer lane, and then bottom. And then Demented Shaman Zephyr mid, and then my guess is Nomad solo top. Style is kind of like their solo short player, and he's most likely going to be going top.
Are we going to see Kongor? They are going right down the middle lane. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean Kongor, but I don't know.
Boy, they buy their items so fast, by the way.
Yeah. They all stocked up, good to go. I mean, they do have plenty of regen, as you'd expect normally, but is this Kongor? There's no Pharaoh. I mean... No, they're not. Okay, so they are going to kind of just run by it, but they want to try to set up... Remember last game, they got a successful gank as they went a very interesting path. And it clearly caught SG off guard, so you kind of wonder if SG may be thinking about that again, but I don't know. I mean, Nymphora is a little bit pushed up here. She needs to be careful not to be caught, and here we go. Faye going to charge out. Now the courier is going to spot them, and that is going to be the difference maker there. So now you don't expect any kills to happen. So Q Squad trying to be pretty crafty there again. This time doesn't work out, though.
We actually have pooled regen onto Rally in mid. Very interesting. He's going to be soloing mid. It's going to be a Nymphora and Soul Reaper lane here bottom against presumably the Torturer Fade. Huh. And I don't know. I feel like I've never seen Soul Reaper in a lane like a dual lane. And the reason why is I feel like Soul Reaper really, really needs those levels. Yeah, he's going to probably get some good farm down here. But I really feel like Soul Reaper is a hero that needs those levels, or he just kind of becomes useless, honestly, as the game goes on. So, but the Demented Shaman and the Zephyr lane, that is mid, no doubt. And then, so yeah, the lanes are somewhat what I thought they would be, but I thought they would do that dual lane mid. Yeah. And the thing is too, is whenever you have a melee mid against Demented Shaman, it makes it very, very difficult. Not to mention Demented Shaman Zephyr combo, because you get that heal bomb off very, very easily.
Oh yeah, I mean that's definitely what makes this combination so powerful. Now I will say, on the other side of the spectrum, it's a case of, again, we're kind of stressing, Raleigh is a good 1 versus 2 hero. He is one that can definitely stay alive and hold his own. So it just seems like in this case, Stigrian's valuing that more. They're valuing the fact that he can just stay alive more. He can at least still get something done in the middle lane. Whereas the bottom lane, sure, you are nerfing experience on Soul Reaper to an extent, but I mean, what could have been a Fade Torturer versus a solo Soul Reaper in short lane, might not have been the most effective. So I guess that's kind of where State Green's coming from here, but we'll see, how this works out. Now, obviously, this is kind of a pseudo-trial lane here with Ophelia being here. She does have a Minotaur, but she runs right past the ward of sight, blocking the camp, and that'll get Fade and Torture to quickly fall back. So don't know how effective these ganks from Chessie are going to be because of that ward of sight. Granted, nope, Torture going to run into her, actually, and just harass a little bit. So this will free up for Soul Reaper, though.
Yeah, it'll free up for Soul Reaper, and this is why you don't see dual lane, long lane very often, especially against the jungler, because it just becomes 2 useless heroes instead of 1, where you could draft like something like a Bubbles that's just suiciding down here. So it's basically two useless heroes down here that are getting shut down, but honestly not getting shut down that much because of that ward placed up by Nova. It's providing them some good vision. So I'm actually curious as to why NM4 is not playing up.
Yeah,
I feel like he could be doing a lot more harassing than he is. And actually, QsQ's going to get lane control here, so I feel that SG's not really playing this that well.
I mean,
to start it off. Now, they do counter this ward early on from Z-Freak. Will it get the spawn to happen? I think it will. And that's going to be the big difference here, is if they're able to get the lane control with these poles.
Yeah, you see the Minotaur spawning right there, so take advantage of that, whether pull it first or just stack it first. But now Torture does have the slight range advantage over that Nymphora, but you are right. I mean, maybe it was because he was just so involved in wanting to get that ward of Rev off, and now he's going to start playing out. But he still is playing, somewhat fairly passive. Now, granted, I mean, it is a Torture Fade, and if Nymphora does get caught out in an awkward spot, that could definitely be a kill, so... Also just wants to maybe just worrying about that. Middle lane in the meantime, there's a gust on a rally, but not really too much damage. So he is easily able to fall back. Doesn't even need the compel right there. But again, so at the very least, when a Melon's here on rally, he's staying alive, get that experience, and that's really what you're asking for. How about this top matchup? How's this one going? We got the Wild Soul versus the Nomad. And as we saw, We Are Spies here making the point that Nomad apparently is pretty damn good against Wild Soul, especially in the short lane versus Suicide matchup. Middle lane, actually, hold that thought for a second. Skeleton King coming in. Demented Shaman's the one in trouble. Nice compel right there. Demented Shaman falling. He does have a cape up, I believe. And a great gust from Zephyr, actually, to help keep him alive. Oh! Barely enough damage. The cape just wore off, too. So that could have been a kill, but not enough. So no bloodlust yet. But Chessie trying to be involved here.
Yeah, that was so damn close. It was literally like the same exact time that the cape was falling away that he would have actually had enough damage, but he got down to like something like 10 life or very, very close to. So not able to make a gank happen right there. He's trying again there in the mid, but not able to be successful right there.
So Nomad, here at the top lane. He right now is actually the top farm of the game. 312 gold per minute. Style up here is having a very good time. He actually has 1,200, 1,300 gold pooled up, so kind of curious when he plans to spend that. Now, he also did just already kill the bear. He's been doing that. I've been going back up here now and then. He has forced a respawn here of Wild Soul. So, and again, this is what helps to make it a good pair against Wild Soul, is that he can apply a lot of pressure to that bear and eventually kill it twice even. So, Wild Soul just definitely feeling the brunt of that. And again, Nomad is right now the top farm of the game. Bottom lane, we do have some counter harassment as Fade and Torture realizing that Nymphora was doing a pull right there, but in the end going to be fine. Nomad diving big time against Wild Soul at the top side, but again, Wild Soul going to survive, just taking a lot of harassment himself. So.
Yeah, Styles playing this exactly how he needs to. He's trying to be as aggressive as possible, especially, there's the Entangle. That's going to do a lot of damage to Nomad. Not going to kill him by any means, but that's the most annoying part about playing against a Wild Soul, especially as a melee. And I say the window of opportunity as far as getting a kill onto Wild Soul is going to be coming to a close here, because once he hits at level 6, it's going to be nearly impossible for Nomad to get the kill. Now, Nomad's still going to get lots of CS, but as far as being able to kill Wild Soul, well, that opportunity is going to be gone here once Wild Soul hits level 6.
Yeah, I mean, Nomad, when it's all said and done, though, he's 26-2 against a 16-11, or 16-1, excuse me, Wild Soul. So, but at that point, Wild Soul still is managing some okay farm himself. And, yeah, the fact that he is going to be hitting level 6 here shortly, and KsQ can be pretty confident ultimately staying alive after that, is pretty good news for him. There's an Entangle proc going out right there. Now, the Boo Boo is actually low on life, so he will have it fall back. He only has about 25 seconds, though, on Resurrection for Boo Boo, so he doesn't necessarily need to be the most worried at this point. But Nomad actually dropping pretty low there. It does have a health potion, however, and we'll be able to use that here shortly. How is this middle lane doing? Zephyr currently is 26-3. Rally, though, 26-7. And he's level 6 as well. So Swindlemelons has actually managed to get some pretty damn good farm here in the middle lane.
Yeah, he's actually boosted up to 29-7 now after getting 3 creep kills right there, using the compel at the same time to get away. So, really doing a good job here in the mid lane. And it's just the power of Rally being able to solo mid effectively without the potential of being killed. Like, I mean, this is a Minotaur. Oh, he actually might die. Zephyr in the mid lane using those tornadoes to try to live. The stun coming out from the Minotaur of Chessie, but it's just not enough for Nox anyway. And Swindlemelons gets the Bloodlust kill here in mid.
Yeah, and talk about that, man. I mean, again, this is Rally here, who not only is having a very good time for what a lot of it was a 1 versus 2, but now getting what it ends up being the Bloodlust kill. 6 minutes into the game, and just like that, he skyrockets to the top farm, 375 gold per minute. And again, the last time we saw Rally, I'm blanking on exactly who it was, but we did see him have a pretty damn good impact in that game because of the start that he had. So, not a hero to scoff at by any means, and knowing that they chose this guy over a Pebbles, too, definitely tells you something. That State Green values him at least. So definitely big for them, the fact that he got that Bloodlust kill. Nomad, though, does continue to have a fairly good time up top. And, again, as far as his build is concerned, going to finish off his Ghost Marches right here. But we do tend to see more of the Helm of the Black Legion route earlier on to get it somewhat tanky. And then you are dealing with the Zephyr in the end. Now, Zephyr's farm, it's mediocre. It's not the greatest. It's not horrible, though. He's about 265. And we all know what Zephyr lineups can do in the end. So you got to be worried about that still. But Fade is going to get comboed here at the bottom lane. Ophelia assisting Chessie, using the Minotaur and the Skeleton King to get the kill. Torture, unfortunately, wasn't just there. And this bottom tower is easily going to be pushed. Now, Soul Reaper, by the way, he too is something you can't forget, as he is having a very good time down here.
Yeah, and I just think this goes back to like sending a dual lane bottom against a pseudo tri lane. It just seems silly to me. Like, Faye's gotten 19 CS, but that's pretty bad considering that that's a hero when you send him in a dual lane that you want to get farm onto him. And so the deny attempt is unfortunately not going to happen. Come out from Noma. The tower gets pushed pretty early here, coming out from Chessie. He gets credit for the gold. Or the kill anyway. And yeah, like I just think the laning setup is kind of awkward, specifically bottom against the tri lane. Soul Reaper has a lot of farm now. If he goes a lot of early game items, they can just press their lead with all the heals that they have. Now, M4 doesn't have the Volatile Pod just yet, but once he does, it's going to be so much heal coming out early on. Hasterin picked up by Slicks. He's going to pursue a kill onto Nova, actually. I feel like he could have kept going right there, but chooses to back off.
He doesn't have his ultimate, just didn't want to risk it right there in terms of diving. And say, yeah, it's going to fall back and actually pick up some jungle camps here, it looks like, as Ophelia is assisting with that. But speaking of Slicks' farm, he already has another 1,100 gold saved out, 385 gold per minute. Yeah, again, going back to that whole laning, I'm actually, while you're bringing that up, I was kind of sitting here trying to think of, so where did QsQ go wrong with the drafting? Because, I mean, again, you remember their choices that they had at that time. It was basically a Pebbles, a Rally, or a Blood Hunter were the other choices in that lockpicking stage, instead of the Fade Nomad. So it's really, I mean, they needed a suicide is what it comes down to, I think, at the regular picking stage. And they didn't go with that.
Well, not even that. I feel like they needed a suicide in a lockpick. Like, they needed to lock a suicide. Because actually Rally doing some damage here in the middle lane. Here's the resistance, though. The Menace Shaman. There's the ultimate coming out from Zephyr. He gusts them back in. So a little overzealous play there coming out from Swindlemelons. Yeah, the ultimate coming out from Ophelia, but rather late. And Swindlemelons will fall.
I was watching that the whole time. I was waiting for Chessie to use the ultimate, and he just didn't use it, and use it a second after, and that's even worse. I mean, now you just wasted the cooldown in a sense, and didn't even remotely save your teammate. So, big unfortunate mistake there from Chessie, and Swindlemelons getting caught out in the first place as they tried to jump on a Zephyr, but obviously Dimension Shaman was there to easily turn it around. And actually, the gust barely missing them for a decent sidestep coming up from Z-Freak, I guess, but Nox missing the, what should have really been a free kill in the 4 there, too.
That's about as free as they come, really. It was like 3 members right there scared of the Nymphora. And there really wasn't anything to be scared of. Like, you can see Soul Reaper's bottom. You just killed Rally. The heal came out already from Chessie, so it should have been a very, very easy kill. Bottom lane, or bottom rune, I should say, is going to spawn. It's illusion, nothing crazy, but we might see action here in bottom. We'll see. It goes for the rune. It's going to be very, very close. You could actually get the gust. No, they're not going to pursue him, so Chessie gets away scot-free.
But Nox's farm, most importantly here for Q Squad, it has started to jump up quite a bit. It is now up to actually 340 gold per minute, and they're going to come over and I believe these are, triple stack Ancients here. So Zephyr should be able to clean up the majority of those at least, if not all of them, and his gold per minute is even going to get higher as a result of that, as is still not dead just yet, but again, slowly doing it. Actually has the Helmet of the Black Legion now finished on top of the boots that he's picked up. Middle push in the meantime coming out here from State Green. They want to take advantage of the timing, and it will work out in their favor, it looks like, so good job from State Green. It's actually Slicks here on Soul Reaper does join them, and he just purchased something. What is being delivered? It is going to be a lot of items. Holy crap, that is a full courier there. I believe that's a Sacrificial Stone. Yeah, Sacrificial Stone just finished on Soul Reaper right there, so going the, in the sense that kind of really beefy team support build. And that goes back to what you stressed at the beginning of this, the picking stages were going on. Ophelia and Nymphora Soul Reaper, I mean, the heal is it's intense over here on the Legion side.
Yeah, now Nymphora, again, still hasn't gone a point yet into the Volatile Pod, and, she's 2-2 right now. I really feel like she should start leveling that pod, like, starting right now. Yep, there you go. So she starts leveling that up. I don't think she really needs any more points, honestly, into the other two spells. Mana's very good, especially for Soul Reaper, but he's already chosen to level up his passive in the Inhuman Nature, so he's going to get mana back from that.
Yeah.
So, the heal potential coming out is very, very strong. They really need an Astrolabe coming out. Ophelia, Chessie always goes for the Mana Ring, or the Ring of Sorcery, which I think is strong, but I really feel like early Astrolabe in some situations, and this is one of them, could be a little bit more effective. We're going to see a possible gank here attempt in the bottom.
Yeah, it is interesting as, hold on, thought that Rally is in trouble. There's the opening from Fade. Oh, the Compel coming out from Rally. Good reaction on Swindle's part, and he will definitely get away. So that was just a case of Fade really wanting to get that open, and sure enough, cost him missing the stun because of the great reaction coming out from Rally right there. Or actually, he might have hit the stun, but...
Yeah, technically it's still hit, but even then, I don't think... Oh, action in mid lane, as Zephyr's getting... Oh, so many heroes here. He did pop an Invis rune, though, and Slicks did not use the ultimate. He did not use the ultimate. He tried to. The animation as it faded because the Invis was popped by Zephyr, so... I feel like he could have ulted there just a little bit earlier for some extra damage, and maybe would have gotten the kill, but nonetheless, Zephyr lives.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, so Rally barely living at the bottom lane, and all of a sudden Zephyr living in the middle lane. Offensive Stormcloud coming out, only under Rally, though, so his arm is going to start decreasing a little bit here, but big middle push coming out for the Legion team, and actually, I was just going to make that point that, you look at the Zephyr Dimension Shaman team on the Hellborn side, I mean, hell, you got a Torture in there. This seems like they're the ones that should be the aggressive group up and push team, but obviously State Green, the way they drafted, I mean, this is definitely a big team fight, snowballing. We're just going to push all together team, and that's what State Green's going to start doing now, as we saw right there.
And look, they literally are all together, and they're just going to keep marching and take every single tower. And really, at this point, there's nothing that can stop him. And I think the biggest reason for that, too, is, you have Nomad who's farming, and he's farming top in the game, actually, at 410 gold per minute, but he's going for the more farm route, the Rune Cleaver. And I feel like because of that, he's not going to have any impact in these fights because he's just too damn squishy. So he will farm fast, and he will do a lot of damage, but in these team fights against this heavy push that SG has, I feel like it's a smarter route to get the more, build-up items, the more strength and tanky items like Helmet of the Black Legion would provide.
It's just this heavy lineup, but it is kind of an odd mix of heroes when you really do look at it here on the Hellborn side. Because, again, they got that Zephyr DS, great combination, great laning phase, great for pushing and grouping up. Speaking of that, they do get a tower themselves in exchange, but Nomad, he is not really your team fight hero. He is more of your, I'm going to go on my own and get kills left and right, do plenty of individual burst damage. But other than him, they don't have a whole lot of that here on the Hellborn side. I mean, sure, Fate is okay, but he's definitely getting under level this game, and under farm for that matter. I mean, this push is just going to continue, though, in favor of the Legion team. Now, granted, Nox is still continuing to push himself, so I'm curious here what actually State Green decides to do here. They are going to keep pushing, and that will get Q Squad to fall back. So here we go. We could have a base fight coming up. We're only 14 and a half minutes in. You really have to keep that in mind, how early and on still it is. But the fact that they're already pressuring the base like that, pretty crazy. I think, though, State Green is ultimately going to fall back here, though.
Yeah, they still don't have an Astrolabe. I just find that so strange. Chessie will have one, actually, to purchase right now. But again, the Ring of Sorcery does help you far more because your creeps will have extra mana. You can nuke out people. It helps you gank a little bit more, but I feel like they don't really need to farm and gank. Like, they're just pushing towers as they've already done right now. And, I think it would have made a huge difference, actually. I mean, they still got all these... In fact, all the outer towers are dead. feel like they could have pushed that top one just a little bit longer if they had the Astrolabe up. But like I said, he will have that here in a second once the courier gets back to base. The Rune Cleaver is up on the Nomad. Again, though, he's only got 800 HP. And I still got to say, though, that you were mentioning he's that type of hero that's not as good in team fights. I actually think he can be really, really effective in team fight. Oh, here comes a Nymph Port. I'm hearing it.
Well,
where's it going?
Fade's the one that got jumped right there by Rally, but she actually ultimates after the Seismic Slam. And she's going to be fine. So yeah, I think they were trying to follow that up, but unfortunately didn't get there in time. But yeah, okay.
But like with the Helm of the Black Legion up on a Nomad, I feel like he can just kind of get in the middle of a team fight. And the thing is, we've seen this before with Nomad. Once you get one kill, your main spell refreshes. So you can keep using it over and over.
True.
It's like the epitome of a snowball effect.
Oh,
The ultimate used by Nomad right here. He's going to go Invis for now with that Sandstorm, but a good deny coming out from Slicks. That was actually well played by Style. He had a very, very good idea, but it just didn't work out in his favor.
It was a ballsy move, that's for sure, but in the end it gets denied, and he does ultimately stay alive, though, which is, of course, the big thing. So, yeah, you're right. I don't know. To me, I still just kind of feel like, especially for it being a Zephyr Demented Shaman, I don't know, really against this Legion team, that's what's doing it for me. Against this Legion team, just again, the heal potential that they have. Sure, the Astrolabe took a little bit longer, but now they got that on top of all the heals that they have. I mean, Volta probably only level 1, but even without Nymph, you got a Soul Reaper and an Ophelia. But then on top of that, it's a very tanky team. You got a Rally and a Wild Soul. This isn't like a team that has your right-click agility carry by any means. This is, again, Wild Soul is very beefy himself, as is Boo Boo. And by the way, Wild Soul is actually very close to a Mach. He's going to be finishing that, in fact, right there. And then Swinamelon's on Rally. I mean, he's building beefy, and this obviously definitely is more of a tanky style hero too. So the outlast potential is just by all means there for Stay Green. And I was more so working on the point that you were saying how Nomad is definitely going the kind of the squishier build it early on, and as a result of that, might not be able to have the biggest impact. But he actually does pick up a B-Star now after the Rune Cleaver. And so it looks like he might be going for the Helm of the Black Legion here, which definitely is good for his sake. So.
I mean, basically right now the entire team has to start building tanky. Oh, not all the other towers were gone. I didn't even see this one bottom, but it will be gone. It will be gone very, very soon. And, yeah, I still think that the entire Hellborn team now, they're just going to have to tank up, like massively tank up. All they have to do right now is just defend. And defend in the base as best as they can. But the thing is I didn't really talk about this too much. There's some counter pushing coming out. That's great for QsQ. That's as best as they can do. But Boo Boo is like the X factor here because they don't really have late game except for Boo Boo. And boy, is he late game. And actually, they're pressing this bottom tower very quickly.
Again, we're only 18 minutes into this game. We have a total of, 6 and 4. We have a total of 10 tower kills here between the two teams. Only 18 minutes into the game. Ophelia heal's going to be used right there, so the bottom tower will fall in favor of the leading team. Nomad chasing, that is a real self. He actually tries to hatchet Boo Boo right there to maybe try to kill it, but obviously it wasn't going to happen. So he'll fall back. Now, I've had the goal per minute chart up for a while. You have a Nomad who's continuing to go balls to the wall with farm, man. I mean, he's over 500 gold per minute now, so Style doing very good there. And actually, Nox here on Zephyr has also really stepped it up. And you got to give credit to QsQ with this counter pushing. It's one of those cases of, we're not going to be able to stop this mass kind of big team snowball here from the Legion team. We need to make the best of it. And that counter pushing is exactly that. Now, the Sandstorm going to be used by Nomad. Try to go, remember, he does have an edge counter right here. We'll see if he uses it or if it's even useful. But in the end, I think the Legion team, they're not looking to get involved in a fight, actually.
No.
And they're going to fall back, so.
Yeah, they don't need to fight, nor do they want to fight. They just want to press into the base and let Q Squad make a mistake by getting up too far, but only when they're pushing the base, because they do have tons of push potential. And you can probably see them, they're maybe looking to buy some extra core items on all their heroes, like you have 800 gold. Basically with this team, you want to spend all your gold right away, and then push with hoarding no gold at all.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of this team. Pushbook actually, I don't know if that's completed or not, but that's on Amphora, and that's really good specifically against Zephyr. So, I mean, the experience is actually definitely in favor of Q Squad at this point. Gold obviously in favor of SG. But you're right, QsQ is playing this really smart. They're not taking these engagements, and they really can't. They're getting a decent trade out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, this is game number 3 here. This is it. This is to see which team stays alive here in the Diamond Division winners bracket, or losers bracket, excuse me, round number 4, and which team will finish 5th/6th place. So definitely quite a bit is on the line between Stay Green and Q Squad, and it is going to be coming down to the very end here, it looks like, and what should be a pretty entertaining game, I must say. I mean, here we are now 20 minutes now when it comes to hero kills. Maybe not the most exciting by any means. Only 2-to-1 hero kill advantage in favor of Stay Green. But a lot of tower pushing and a lot of team, just kind of grouping up and doing work in that sense. Rally's trying to find somebody here. Torture is also playing very aggressive. This is a support Torture being played by Nova here. He's in the Legion jungle all by himself.
Yeah.
But he is going to be able to stride away in time. But yeah, he was playing very risky there. Able to get away though. Rally does have that Soul's Borks. This is what you're talking about. Just spend all your gold and just group up and push. Now, Soul Reaper does have 2,200 gold saved up. He's been sitting on that Blessed Orb for a while. Obviously, you can assume that's going to be a sheep stick here, I would think.
Right.
I wonder if he has the mana tube just not on him, though. So maybe he just needs the 2,700 gold. But anyways, they are going to maybe group here and maybe look to push in. The tower is down, remember, at the base here. So.
Yeah, and I don't know if Glyph was popped. I don't think it was for for QsQ, but yeah, you're right. Because that outer tower is down, or the base tower, I should say, that they're going to have to fight this quickly. We might also see SG just try to get some wards up massively and then push towards a Kongor kill.
Yeah.
Right now, they're just sitting here taking the Ancients in. It's causing it a little bit more difficulty here for QsQ to try to find places to farm because they don't exactly know at the moment where QsQ is going to, or SG is going to farm.
Well, the offensive ward aside, Rally up there really wants to maybe catch somebody, but again, he's level 11 as well. So of course, that level 2 Seismic Slam, what is that, 650 physical damage now. That small AoE radius, but nonetheless still an AoE radius. Zephyr kind of taunting them to even initiate. Zephyr does have that Soul's Bulwark set defensively, by the way, so they're ready to fight in the sense of also continuing to be very tanky here with the defensive-minded Soul's Bulwark. So.
That they have to be. I mean, that's what they need. They just need to be all-out tanky, and the build, honestly, that DS has too is going to help them with that. It doesn't have any points in Tankle. I know a lot of competitors, especially support players, they really don't like this build, but I think it suits them well here, actually.
Yeah, yeah. And again, that Arcane Shield, especially, or the Unbreakable, excuse me. I remember when it first was changed to this Unbreakable ability, it actually always used to be a 15-second cooldown, no matter what, on the Unbreakable. Now you have to level it up. It starts at 45 seconds actually, and eventually gets down to 15 seconds. So one more level, that will be down to 15 seconds, and that means that the likelihood of it being usable at least twice in a fight is likely, and it can definitely play a big role. So I agree with you. I love this style of build, the very defensive-minded build that Demented Shaman's going for here. Entangle, ultimately we've already gone over the fact that this is a very tanky team here on the Legion side, plenty of heals. Entangle really not going to do much for you. So, yeah, definitely can appreciate that choice there from Malay. But stay green, cleaning out the Ancients, again, kind of taking their time here. I believe, okay, so I don't think he had the mana tube. He did purchase the Acolyte Staff, though, did Soul Reaper. Mm-hmm. And now he's just trying to farm up for the mana tube to have the sheep stick.
That's simply what they're waiting for. I mean, there's really no reason to push right now when Soul Reaper's so damn close to an item that's that effective in team fights. In the meantime, you have KsQ on Wild Soul just using his bear annoyingly to the other team and just pressing or pushing top with the Maka Brilliance aura. And he's just continuing to do that over and over. So, like I said, they're just buying time for Soul Reaper. There's the mana tube, and he does have it now. So expect a push coming out here pretty soon. And they do have to go sooner than later.
Well, look at Nomad, man. I mean, this guy's getting big. He already has a level 1 Shield Breaker. He actually purchases a Steam Staff. I don't know if that was before or after, to be honest. Maybe that was a second guessing. Was it before?
Actually.
Okay,
yeah.
So I kind of assumed that would eventually be made an Assassin Shroud, then later down the line a Genjiro, but choosing to go the Shield Breaker route for now, at least.
Yeah, I think that's a smarter pickup, honestly. I don't think Shroud is very good against pushing teams because normally you will have some kind of anti-vision coming out from them. In fact, they do have what is that? The Bound Die up on the rally. So it's not going to be very effective. You don't want to try to maneuver around and gank somebody while they're trying to push. It just doesn't work out. And that being said, honestly, I was going to say this earlier, but Fade is actually not very good against this style of lineup for the reason I just stated. It's difficult to get a pick off like that when they're all close together.
Well, here we are at the bottom lane. I mean, Conquer is slowly being taken out, but obviously the Legion team realizing pretty quickly that it ain't going to happen, as Q Squad was making their way over. So they fall back too, but if anything, may just try to dwindle down this Conquer until they eventually get it. But will Q Squad let that happen? I mean, look at Q Squad, this conclave that they kind of have here off to the side. They want to make something happen. It's interesting. It's almost as if the map is going from left to right. Anyways, here we go. Sheepstick got a Nomad right there. Here's the initiation. Compel on top of it. There's a seismic slam. Talbot forward. Nomad barely staying alive. He will stay alive for now. Zephyr, the Typhoon in the meantime in the foreground. It looks like Nymphora possibly going to be picked off. In fact, there you go. Meanwhile, down here, Ophelia chasing. Dimension Shaman trying to heal up his teammates. Torture also dropping quickly. Torture looks like may fall in the end. Yes, he will. Nomad, meanwhile, back at base. But back over here, Zephyr still now on the run as 2 more kills come out right there. Nymphora, Ophelia dead for the Legion side. Zephyr may be dead here. Yes, he is going to be locked down. Dimension Shaman going to try to port, but the Sheepstick catches him, and down he goes. So Nomad back at the base. He is just going to sit there for now, but that was a 1-5 for State Green, and now they're going to maybe break into the racks here.
Yeah, a couple things about that. One, as I was going to mention too, you got to wonder if a Shrunken Head on a Nomad would have been a little bit of a smarter choice. Nymphora, by the way, buys back into TPs here, and then also a buyout onto Zephyr as well, as he's going to protect the racks for now. But I literally watched their entire... Okay, they opened up with a Sheep on a Nomad, and then literally everyone just like let them hurt Nomad. Like there wasn't a defensive gust away from the rest of the team. There wasn't stuns. There wasn't a push book from Fade or anything. No one helped him. And as a result, he got way too low. Luckily, he didn't die. Like, he still lived, but no one helped him. He didn't get any team support. And especially from the Zephyr, the Zephyr that was just sitting there. And I feel like he could have gusted the enemy team away or done something, but they literally just watched him get decimated. And I feel like that is not the way to go about these team fights, not on a Nomad anyway.
Oh, of course, especially the impact he's having for you this game. I mean, I will say I did see a Talbot there at the end, but even though it was after the Seismic Slam hit, so a lot of the pretty much all the damage was already done, and it really made him do absolutely nothing. I don't even think he got like an edge counter off. I mean, he just basically ran and then ported back to base with barely any life. So the fact that you're Nomad, you're a big damage dealer here on the Hellborn side, really did, well, 0 damage in that last fight. Obviously, you're not going to win those fights. So, yeah, that worked out pretty well here for the Legion team.
And I apologize, Zephyr didn't buy back. He's just only level 8. So
okay, yeah. Quick resurrection.
He just respawn.
I was going to say, yeah, that would be kind of an odd buyback, to be honest. But now Zephyr did buy back, so
yeah,
that you were truthful on. Where is the bear, by the way? I always hate this. I'm trying to find. Okay, he's at the top lane. What does the bear have? He has a Slayer now picked up on top of the Ghost Marchers and Mock of Brilliance. So a Savage Mace is in the works here for Boo Boo. Of course, while it's still controlling him. Going to attempt Kongor a little bit once again, but just like last time, I don't really think they have plans to actually get the kill. Maybe just kind of bait out QsQ. But yeah, it keeps going back to, Stay Green, although they can't take forever by any means. Or I mean, can they actually? I mean, they do have a Wild Soul that the bear will just continue to get farmed. So I guess they're not in a hurry here, to say the least. Continuing not to be. So Kongor, again, just kind of back and forth, keeping the minions there, if anything, it looks like. Obviously, the Hellborn... Is there any vision here, by the way? I didn't notice that.
Not from the Hellborn side. It was countered.
Just got countered.
Last one does get countered.
Yeah. Right as we're saying that. So, yeah, that gets countered. And now QsQ will have to be blind, unsure if Kongor is actually happening or not. And that's got to be frustrating because, it's obviously for us, it's hard to tell exactly. But actually, Nova will place another ward of sight there. I do wonder if that actually will see Kongor. I know these wards sometimes don't get the best vision. But it's going to be countered right away, actually. Legion team sees it puts down, and they're going to counter it. So once again, the Hellborn team blind. And this will be difficult now for QsQ to make something happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kongor is going to be very, very effective for them, too. Like, especially, it's probably going to go up on a Soul Reaper if they do get it. And, it's going to be pretty devastating. Now, the numbers are still actually in favor as far as experience goes for QsQ. And like I mentioned before, Shrunken Head is in the works for Nomad. And look at this. They're literally soloing Kongor with Kazu's bear as they're healing it. Soul Reaper just sitting here healing it. I figure... Yeah.
Oh, wow, we're going to have a jump in, though. Offensive Stormcloud. The Burning Shadows connects right there, but there's a Volatile Pod heal. And just like that, the Hellborn team just falls back. QsQ was not really interested in following that up. And so, again, it continues to be a fairly slow initiating fights here.
Yeah, if anything, they're just preventing them a little bit longer from doing Kongor. Here we go!
Sheepstick on his Zephyr. There's the Compel. Here's a Seismic Slam, and Zephyr will drop right off the bat. He can buy back. That'll be a second and final back. That was a great ultimate coming out from Nomad in the meantime. That edge counter of his, but 0 follow-up from it. They're falling back over. Zephyr buys back. He's back in. He has a Typhoon ready to go. But again, Stay Green realizes that immediately, and they fall back themselves. So now with Zephyr completely out of buybacks, Stay Green once again will just take their time. Really, they don't need to force this. If anything, just continue to harass Kongor. QsQ in a difficult spot.
I don't get why the way that QsQ is playing this. Like, even the healing wave was up actually for Diminished Shaman. He already used the cape, but the heal was still up. I just feel like they're getting no help. Like, they're just watching their teammates die. And you can't do that. I mean, especially with the Zephyr, who's, like, Nomad is one thing because he's, well, actually, he's got more HP than Zephyr, but Zephyr still with the heals is a little more tanky, and that's a perfect time when someone's initiating on them. And honestly, they weren't killing them that fast. Like, there was still a lot of time between the initial sheepstick from Soul Reaper and then the rest of the burst after that. But yeah, again, I just feel like they're just watching their teammates die, and they're not getting anything out of this.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, speaking of Soul Reaper, I usually catch on this. Now, he is only level 2 ultimate, but the Soul Reaper ultimate, I mean, it is powerful against beefy heroes like Zephyr. How, in a sense, especially when it's level 3, you just really need to get him below half-life. Just a little bit more, of course, but, you get him below half-life, and you can pretty much guarantee a kill with a Soul Reaper on your team. Because, that his ultimate and then a little bit of follow-up damage, and all of a sudden Zephyr's dead. So, I'm sure, that didn't help either. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, QsQ, it might not be the most ideal, but you can't just let deaths like that have a nice sidestep from Rally right there. He expected something. There's a sheepstick on the Fade, actually. Fade going to be bursted down right off the bat. So he's gone. Nomad will be bursted down as well. The Soul Reaper ultimate. Boom goes a dynamite on top of the seismic slam. Nox is standing his ground, but he will just melt away, and I think Stay Grid is just going to be too much in the end to handle here for QsQ. They're trying to hold it off, but again, Nox has 0 buybacks. Nomad has no money for buybacks. These racks are going to be cleaned up, and Stay Green is going to move on. So QsQ, I think the road may end here for cycle number 5. And Stay Green very possibly going to be moving on, but what a series it definitely was. But again, QsQ, they just, they weren't, didn't have the greatest of help, the support in the end. So I think the best way to put it.
Yeah, and Shrunken Head wasn't, or it was available actually for Nomad, but just didn't get a chance to pop that. And that's huge when you invest that much gold into a very, very important item against this team and not able to use it. Well, then obviously it just shows you how good the initiation was, and just the combination of all the stuns and whatnot used from SG, able to just overrun QsQ. This is going to be the last set of racks. Actually, there's still the range one in mid, but yeah, Molly gets taken out. There's the GG well played, so SG takes this in game 3.
Yep, that's it. That'll officially do it right there. Stay Green does take the series 2-1 over QsQ, and again, they are moving on. They're going to play the winner of the Absolute Legends Lions series, which, of course, will cast the first thing on Saturday. They'll be playing the winner of that. They'll play it later on against them. So, congratulations to Stay Green. That does guarantee them at least a top 4 finish, if not further. QsQ, however, will finish 5th/6th place here in cycle number 5. So, again, a pretty solid finish, but QsQ, they got to be disappointed. Especially after that cycle 3 results, and they're really trying to, get a comfortable spot there in that place 3 that they are right now, but or trying to move up there at least. But, finishing here, unfortunately, won't help them the most. So, but yeah, so Stay Green takes it, and 2-1. I mean, any final thoughts from you, Tralf, on this whole series here?
Just well played overall, I think, and it was awesome. I always love seeing the series go to 3 games.
Yeah,
because that generally shows you how closely and evenly matched these teams are. But I think the lineup that SG had was really, really strong, and they played it well as far as just pushing, grouping up. They got one tower. They didn't waste time and farm, like, oh, I need to get this item. No, those items can wait. It wasn't like Slick was, oh, let me get my sheepstick, then we can group up. They were still pushing up, way before that point. And literally going as 5, grouping up, and you have to do that with the team composition like that. And so it was smartly played by SG once again.
Yeah, I will say, kind of looking at the stat screen here too, it's something that's standing out to me is Nomad, how he was 0-1-0. I mean, a level 17 Nomad, 32-minute game, and to be 0-1-0, especially on a hero like that, it's like, you can't expect to win, honestly. So,
who almost had as much APM as he did creep kills.
264, damn! Style up there with the APM.
With Fuji apples and chew.
Yeah, exactly. All right, though, that is going to wrap things up here for today. Again, kind of a surprise cast here on HoNcast.com. So, special for several reasons. Not only we got the Diamond Division losers bracket round 4 wrapping up here, well, at least for this matchup of Stay Green versus QsQ, against Stay Green defeating QsQ 2-1. But Tralf, officially your last cast here on HoNcast for the HoN Tour matches, at least. Of course, we are going to be coming back tomorrow with a podcast and then the Sound Blaster qualifiers. So tomorrow will be the last day, but it was definitely a lot of fun as always. So So yeah, but I want to, obviously we're going to be coming back tomorrow, so we can go more over that tomorrow. But any final words from you, Trout, before we kind of just wrap things up here?
Well, it was a nice surprise to hear that we would be able to cast this today. I was actually looking for it right when I heard about it yesterday. So
yeah,
well played to all teams, or both teams, and congrats to SG for moving on. And they will play the winner of, who is it, Lions versus, help me out here, who's the other set of teams? Do you remember?
I'm sorry, Lions versus Absolute Legends.
Yeah, so SG will face the winner of that series, which will be played on Saturday. Okay. So that'll be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, that's on Saturday. That'll be the earlier match on Saturday. At what is that? When do we always start? 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European Time, and then the later match, of course, we got the winners bracket finals, where, well, you're going to be playing in One Trick Pony versus Trademark Esports, of course, and that will definitely be a lot of fun. So. All right, well, I'm going to wrap things up, though, officially for today, guys. So thank you once again for tuning in. For myself, Break It CPK, of course, as always, joined by Trouf. We will see you guys tomorrow, though. The podcast, the HoNcast Weekly Podcast, it does start tomorrow, actually, at, 11:30 a.m. Pacific, which is 2:30 p.m. Eastern. And I want to say, oh, God, let me just do quick math. That's 6 hours. That would be 20:30 Central European Time. That's when it would be. HoNcast.com has the countdown timer and the broadcast schedule for it and everything, so you can find out there. But, yeah, we got that, and then the match after, and what is going to be the final cast for Trial from Midor. So, again, going to be kind of special in that sense as well. So definitely tune in for tomorrow. And until then, though, it was fun as always. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.
The shells are going to be used, and he's going to pour up another dot applied. That might be enough damage. He does not have another take cover. He's changing boots, changing boots, changing boots. Now he didn't change his damn boots.
We kill the Swifty by one's side, and we'll take Congors